What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and I know I'm a little bit late on this story, but I just kind of had to talk about it because our favorite writer for Marvel Studios, Dana Schwartz, is back at it again. We've talked about her before on this channel. That time, it was because she had a problem with males. She had a problem with what South Park did to males in our culture. It was pretty laughable. But now she's in the news for a couple other things. One, for another attack on males, an attack on fandom. Not really a surprise. Someone who works for Disney, someone who works for Marvel, that's pretty much a requirement at this point. But she also said something that I gotta admit was pretty funny, but she didn't leave it up. She deleted it. Not because she's a Disney employee, not because she changed her mind about it, but because she was getting canceled by other SJWs just like her. So let's take a look at this right here from Bounding Into Comics. John F. Trent, thank you, John, for this article. Marvel Studios She-Hulk writer Dana Schwartz compares coronavirus to Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And like I said, I gotta admit, it's a pretty apt analogy, and when you read it, you might think the same too. Either way, it's clearly a joke, and I don't see any problem with it. Marvel Studios She-Hulk writer Dana Schwartz compares Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker to coronavirus in a now deleted tweet. And again, she leaves some stuff up there that a lot of people have a lot of problems with, but this one gets deleted. Schwartz wrote, COVID-19 is going to be like Rise of Skywalker. It's a nightmare. It's going to be a struggle, but then we're going to get to come out the other side and pretend it never happened. So she is referencing the virus, the pandemic that's currently sweeping the world, but she's also throwing shade on Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker because let's be real, that movie is trash. And everyone, even people that work at Disney pays her bills. Even these people know that The Rise of Skywalker is hot garbage. And then she adds on to it in a subsequent tweet. Also, we're not going to be able to fully grasp what went down without reading a ton of extra literature. And that's exactly right. As more things come out, the art of The Rise of Skywalker, the Rise of Skywalker novelization, all of this stuff, all to explain away one of the worst movies in big cinematic franchise history. Schwartz is quickly becoming notorious, not for her actual writing talent, but her horrendous use of social media. Now, this goes through a couple other tweets. I wanted to get back to some of the responses she got to this. This is an article from CBR. She-Hulk writer ignites controversy with Star Wars and the joke. And you can see some of the responses. Sorry to be a buzzkill, but we're looking at something like 1,000 times worse than 9/11 happened in most major economies at the same time. We'll be lucky if this doesn't send us back to the Stone Age. Dana, I hope someone whose opinion you respect reminds you that tens of thousands of people have died and hundreds of thousands surely will. And let's be honest, that is sad. That is devastating to anyone affected by this. But at the same time, she is just making some social commentary and a joke about a bad movie and a bad situation out there in the world. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. She's making light of it a little bit. But it is a joke, people. There's nothing wrong with her and writing a joke. Now, things that I do have an issue with are her constant attacks on men and her constant attacks on fans. And that is what we have. Now, this is going to remind you here of this attempt to cancel South Park. In retrospect, it seems impossible to overstate the cultural damage done by South Park, the show that portrayed earnestness as the only sin and taught that mockery is the ultimate inoculation against all criticism. Ironic, isn't it, that then you get canceled for making a joke? That's pretty funny, isn't it? And again, to be clear, I don't blame the show itself as much as I do the generation of boys, just boys, only boys watch South Park. That's clear and obvious to anyone who internalized it into their personalities. Which maybe isn't the show's fault. Now, this is what happened just the other day. This is a couple days ago. And this, I want to go back to the entire thread, actually, because I think it's important that everyone has context in this. So let's go to this thread. Again, this is not one she's deleted. This attack on fans, this attack on men. No, her trying to play the victim when someone simply asks her to tell us what she loves about comics. And here you go. Someone replies to her, looks like on Instagram. So where on your Instagram is there a mention that you're passionate about comics? In a medium where frauds are spotted like criminals casing a bank, how do you truly believe you'll write something interesting? I would say good luck, but that would imply you give a shit beyond your own upward mobility. So how about don't F up an iconic character by creating created by a company that has grown the IP for nearly 50 years. Now, someone pretty clearly angry about something, angry about her taking on She-Hulk, wants to know how she got her start. Pretty aggressive. But then she says, men really need to take a deep breath. Again, it's always about men. I've never seen her say a bad word about female fans. And I know there's female fans out there that have an issue with what she's saying, that have an issue with her and her agenda writing for She-Hulk. And then she keeps posting, oh no, he doubled down. Earnest question. Again, she's just trying to play the victim. That's all this woman does. That's all she's able to do, clearly. Earnest question. Do male writers deal with this? Also, imagine seriously believing anyone got into comics for the money, LOL. I actually have seen a lot of people get into comics for the money, so that's not a surprise. Good deflection, nice try, but I don't think people buy that. The idea that I need somehow to prove my worthiness in order to work in a certain genre is incredibly toxic and also sexist. The only people who may need to explain my experience, my credentials, and my passion are the people that hired me. The thing is, if you want people to then partake in this thing that you're creating, you need to prove it to them too. That's what everyone's saying. And if you don't want to, you don't have to, certainly by any means, but don't expect people to then line up for this product that you supposedly want to put out there. And then here, quotes, fan gatekeeping is a profoundly toxic subculture. The people who think enjoying a thing gives them ownership over it. It definitely doesn't give people ownership. There's no doubt about that. It doesn't give you ownership over a product, but it does make you invested in some way, shape, or form. There's no doubt about that. And then again, she posts, again, because he responds. Now, this is Juicy J Revival. I haven't looked at this dude. This dude probably has 50 followers on Instagram. Is not important at all. She's someone that has 160,000 followers on Twitter, but she's really hung up on what he keeps asking her. Okay, I'm only posting this to show this guy has finally shown his whole ass. He's terrified at the prospect that a woman might actually genuinely love writing the same characters he enjoys. It would tear his worldview apart. So again, not uncommon attacks on men, but the fact that she had to delete her tweet, her joke tweet about coronavirus, comparing it to a shit movie in The Rise of Skywalker, is nothing but ironic, considering how she was trying to cancel South Park for very similar type jokes. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Obviously, this is not the last we'll hear from Dana Schwartz. She really likes sticking her nose into things and causing a big stir up on Twitter. Probably much more so than actually writing something that we're going to care about. Because at this point, it's pretty clear she doesn't give a shit about fans. She doesn't give a shit about me or you. She just wants to make whatever she wants to make. She doesn't have to prove anything to you, right? Just consume it. Because that's all you're good for, is consuming something. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.